name is Daniel and welcome to my tiny kitchen. This web series I'm starting basically in honor of my grandma, who I recently lost. She was an avid baker. She loved to bake, and I loved baking with her as a kid, and now as an adult, and I love to bake still. And so this is just my way of sharing my grandma's recipes, my grandma's love for baking, as well as my own, to you guys. So yeah, this episode I am doing two recipes. First one is just the Choc chip cookies, and while that's baking in the oven, I'm quickly going to do some Rice Crispy Crunchies. So first recipe is the Choc chip cookies. So the ingredients for this I will post at the bottom, and the instructions in a basic format. But you need for this 175 grams of butter, about 45 grams of caster sugar, about 100 grams of brown sugar, 175 grams of flour, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of bi-carb soda, about 100 grams, 75 to 100 grams of Choc chip cookies, 1 egg, and half a teaspoon of vanilla essence. Basically with an electronic mixer, if you have them. I don't have a lot of this new high-tech stuff, so I'm using very similar stuff to what my grandma used. So with an electronic mixer, you want to basically beat the butter. Please make sure it's room temperature, because it's a lot easier to mix than straight from the fridge. So we are beating the butter, and we're adding the sugar to that, basically to mix the butter and the sugar together into kind of like a light and creamy kind of consistency. Sorry, I just got a cube of butter in there. Okie dokie. So once you have your mixture, you then want to get your egg and your vanilla essence, mix them two together. I usually use just a small cup, can use another bowl, small bowl, and then basically you beat that one into your mixture that you've just done. So add that to your butter mixture. Okie dokie. Once you've done that, then you need to add your flour, baking powder, and salt together. Use a sieve when you add this stuff, and do it in stages, not all at once, so you can make sure it's mixed throughout consistently. At this stage I use a wooden spoon, just so the flour doesn't get everywhere. once you've basically mixed all of them, you have your basic cookie dough all done. And now now that you've got your cookie dough, you can add your choc chips. So, same as before, just pop them in and then mix them thoroughly throughout your dough. So, these are going into an oven that's about 180 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but a quick Google will easily tell you. And then grab your baking sheets, which line with some baking paper. And basically you're getting about a teaspoon to a tablespoon's worth of dough onto them. So about a yay much. Now placing these, you want about 5 centimeters apart, so depending on the size of your tray, you might get three or four of these in. Because you've popped your baking, your bi-carb in, it's going to rise and flatten out. So once you have got your dough on your trays, these go into the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes, and then they're done. So while these are in the oven, I'll run through the other recipe, which shouldn't take too long. So you can put multiple sheets in. You've got multiple trays. But I'll do that when I put the next batch in. The next recipe is Rice Crispy Crunchies, which is a very similar, which is not really a baking treat, but it's quick, simple, easy to make, especially for last minute pick food. So for this recipe, you need about 100 grams of Rice Crispies, about 75 grams of butter, 50 grams of glazed cherries. I've cut these into smaller pieces so there's, they spread a little bit more evenly throughout. 50 grams of choc chips, and about 150 to 200 grams of marshmallows. So, separate your marshmallows into two lots. About 100 grams of them you'll be melting down. The other 50 to 100 grams, either have them in smaller pieces or buy smaller marshmallows. They're going in as part of the treats. Now you can swap around the ingredients, take out some and add others, raisins or dried fruits. And if you don't want one, you can add more of the other. It's entirely up to you, it's very flexible. So your first step is basically melting your butter, and you do that in a pan, obviously, or you can use a microwave. However, you will be popping your marshmallows in there to melt as well. Basically your butter and your marshmallows act as your binding agent. The other ingredient you'll need is 2 tablespoons of golden syrup, which you're adding to your butter as it's melting. So, make sure you have a spoon, because you'll need to constantly stir this as it's melting. So while that stuff is melting, grab a container for this, because it'll be going into the fridge. So, square round circle, doesn't matter. Just make sure you pop some baking paper in there. Just because once it's chilled and it's set, it's a lot easier to take out. So, once your marshmallow and butter mixture has melted and it needs to be added to your Rice Crispies. Now it needs to be added quite quickly-ish because your marshmallows tend to become set and stuck quite quickly. So, into your bowl. And then mix them together. Now if you're adding choc chips, if you want to keep the choc chips from not melting, make sure you let this mixture cool a little before adding your choc chips, because they will melt and basically turn everything brown. So once it's cooled down, you can add your choc chips. Now I don't know if mine's cooled enough, so I just want to get this in the fridge because I've got the cookies in the oven. So you can add your choc chips and your glazed cherries, as well as your small pieces of marshmallows. Now because it's slightly cooled down, it shouldn't be enough to melt these marshmallows. And mix them thoroughly through till you get an even consistency throughout the entire mixture. And once you've done that, you need to add it to your tray. So, I have a square tray. Sorry, I had pieces stuck to me. Okie dokie. So let's add it to the tray and use the back of your spoon to basically spread it out until you get an even layer throughout the whole tray. Now also use the back of your tray to basically compact it down to keep it together. The back of your spoon to basically keep it together. And once you've done that, that goes in the fridge for 2 hours, and then you can cut it up, slice it up, and serve. So that's going in to the fridge. So cookies come out. Now, if you've got a cooling rack at home, I think they've been in for a little bit about a couple minutes extra than they should have, possibly, but they're still at least soft. They're small. You can obviously make the mixture bigger, depending on your own. Let me just, so I don't burn tabletop. So they're not that big. If you can see there, they didn't grow too much because we weren't using self-raising flour. The bi-carb helped a little. So if you're wanting bigger cookies, just add more mixture when you're baking them. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I'll do the rest and post them up. But thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time where I show the next recipe. But thank you so much for watching, and again, if you want the recipe, just look in the description below. I'll post it there. Thank you so much. Bye.